Alright, what's today? Alright, this one's titled Enter Their Spirit. The great and implacable amorous passions are all linked to the fact that a being imagines he sees his most secret self spying upon him behind the curtain of another's eyes. Okay? All of us are narcissists. When we were children, our narcissism was physical. We were interested in our own image, our own body, as if it were a separate being. As we grew older out of narcissism, our narcissism grows more psychological. We become absorbed in our own tastes, opinions, and experiences. A hard shell forms around us. Paradoxically, the way to entice people out of this shell is to become more like them. In fact, a kind of mirror image of them. You do not have to spend days studying their minds, simply conform to their moods, adapt to their tastes, play along with whatever they send your way. In doing so, you will lower their natural defensiveness. Their sense of self-esteem does not feel threatened by your strangeness or different habits. People truly love themselves, but what they love most of all is to see their ideas and tastes reflected in another person. This validates them. Their habitual insecurity vanishes. Hypnotized by their mirror image, they relax. Now that their inner wall has crumbled, you can slowly draw them out and eventually turn the dynamic around. Once they are open to you, it becomes easy to infect them with your own moods and heat. Entering the other person's spirit is a kind of hypnosis. It is the most insidious and effective form of persuasion known to man. Daily law. Lure people out of their natural intractability and self-obsession by entering their spirit. Soon you can shift this dynamic. Once you have entered their spirit, you can make them enter yours at a point when it is too late to turn back. That's from The Art of Seduction. Enter their spirit. Interesting. That makes sense. That plays on all kinds of different levels. If you think about it, not just like the one-on-one, like kind of relational, personal level, but I guess like if you were like a stranger in a strange land, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? That's that kind of thing, I guess. You don't want to stand out in a foreign land. Ooh, let's get some air in here for a sec. At least until I get to the freeway, then I gotta put these suckers up because the wind gets loud. Enter into their spirit. Let me see. Have I ever done this? Oh, yeah. I guess I spent my whole life doing this. I'm a water sign. I'm a Pisces. And Pisces are very adaptable. It's a very. I think it's mutable. I think is the term. It's a mutable sign, meaning it can become other things. Which I guess makes sense since I've become something much different than I used to be. All right, let's hit the road a little bit. I wish I could leave the windows down, but the sound of the air is going to be way too loud. It's just too much. All right, let's go. Yeah, the night air is nice and cool. It's been very warm lately. I guess to a certain degree, with that whole enter the spirit topic, I guess that's what I did with my woman. Like I really entered into hers. Like I allowed her spirit enter into me. I guess you could say. Because I like her spirit. I prefer that, but not, I didn't do it with like um, with the purpose of like eventually turning it, like the part where it talks about, and then you could turn it around. And I'm not trying to do that. I would never want her to become how I was when we met. I want to just become more like her. She's very bold and assertive and confident. I like all those attributes. All right, so I guess these windows have to go up now. It's just going to be a noisy mess on the road. Again, had all kinds of dreams. Remember none of them. You know, it's funny. Like I'm an avid viewer of Joe Rogan's podcast, and lately, maybe within the past, I don't know, maybe a couple months now, I've been noticing like he doesn't shut the fuck up. Like, you know, his podcast used to be all about the guests. Like he used to have so many different interesting kinds of guests on there that I want to hear from and I want to hear about. And he used to be really Joe. Speaking of Joe, used to be really good at asking questions. You know, he would ask all the right questions to get his guests to talk about whatever, you know, topic they're on or background that they're from, or and it just used to be great conversations. But recently, this guy just talks and talks and talks, and it seems like his guests don't even get to talk much. And it's always the same shit now. Like as soon as he starts going on a rant or a monologue, I can even say where he's going with his thought. Do it all the time. He brings up the same things all the time when it comes to specific things. And I thought it was kind of funny. I thought I was the only one that kind of noticed it. Me and my woman both noticed it. And you go into the comment sections, everybody's noticing it. This poor guest barely get a word in edgewise on whatever the topic of the conversation might be at that moment. It's like, I don't want to hear from you. I know everything about Joe. I want to know about your guest. I think I'd do a better job, to be honest. I have a million questions about the things that people tell me, and I don't have much to say still most of the time, except for asking a good question. But it seems like, sadly, I know it's called the Joe Rogan Experience, but he's made his own podcast all about him recently. That's kind of a shame. It didn't used to be like that. He's lost the narrative or lost the plot. But I thought it was hilarious that people in the comments section are saying the same thing. What I would probably have a hard time with, though, if I was to like conduct a podcast with like a guest, is people have a habit of saying so much at once. Like, I'll have questions about like four or five different things they just said, but I don't want to interrupt them in the middle of their talking to like, wait, okay, wait, hold on, tell me about this, and it would like sidetrack. It would be like kind of probably like a train wreck. People have a habit of packing a lot of information into like one statement, and that statement can be torn apart in like four different directions. And I'll want to do it as they talk, because if I wait for them to stop speaking, I'll forget the question that I had about the first point that piqued my curiosity. That's kind of like that's something I'll have to work on with my memory. I've noticed that happens even at work sometimes. Somebody will be telling me something, and I'm like, oh shit, that's interesting, inside my head. And I want to ask a question about it, but I don't want to interrupt them because what they're also going on to say is also interesting. So I'll have like a bunch of different questions, and I'll forget some of them. Oh, that's interesting. This truck's lights are shining up against the wall, making this pattern as it drives. It's kind of cool. Oh, I see what it is. Interesting. It looks like the Union Jack symbol, to be honest. I don't think it's meant to look like that. But if you know what the Union Jack is, it looked like that sign on the wall. It's like, Union Jack is the England's flag, the pattern of the lines. That's called the Union Jack. But then that's what it looked like. That pattern of the lines from the English flag, or Great Britain, whatever it's called. Another gulp of this. So yeah, that's something that occurred to me while I was watching his podcast with the last guest, and that's the one where my woman went into the comments just to see what people are saying, and that was like one of the first things. I think of something like, we've been in 45 minutes in and the guest has only spoken like 3 minutes worth of time. What does this say? North 14 at Avenue L to J, all lanes closed. Well, I'm not on the 14. So that doesn't apply to me. Hopefully, I'll be able to take my exit. As I like to cone it off for a big bunch of nothing. We'll see. I think today maybe I'll because I had a sample scene written based on the interview I had. It came out pretty good, I thought. There's some slight variations which I don't care about because from what my girlfriend says, all kinds of things get changed when they make a movie or whatever. For whatever reason. I'm fine with that. I don't care. As long as like the basic backbone of my story stays kind of intact. Like little details I'm not too concerned about. But as I read through like the sample scene, I'm like, man, this is kind of it. I guess maybe I should continue. And I think one woman said like every page of a script or screenplay or whatever the correct term is like a minute of footage on screen. So I'm shooting for like 90 pages, something like that, hour and a half, at least, hour 45. Like maybe 105 pages. That's what if it was turned into a movie. I just think it's fun to do this anyways. I don't really care if it gets done. But I like the fact that it could create this. It's kind of cool. I didn't know it could create dialogue. Because at first it was just like, I guess the term's called the treatment. That's a very like, very like super short like, how do I like, I guess plot points. But this is more like going scene by scene. Like it's taking, what it's doing is like it's asking me like from the interview that we conducted, and it suggested actually where to start. Because it said it was like one of the more impactful moments from the story, and it was the moment in my life where my mom's dog was yanking on me. We were just kind of hanging out at my mom's house for the day. Or my dad's house. My parents' house. I don't know. I always split up the two. I guess it was meant to be that they split up eventually. Anyways, we were at my parents' house, getting out of the heat. And we were sitting on the couch, and my mom's dog was yanking on my sleeve. And this was before I had any interest in dogs. This is what created any interest in animals at all. And it was one of the most mind-blowing experiences I've ever had because it just didn't ever occur to me that animals had a mental world like humans. So anyways, we were at my parents' house, we were sitting on the couch, and the dog was like pulling on the sleeve of my sweatshirt. Like, kept grabbing it, pulling on it. I'm like, "Sonny, get off me. Stop." And it happened a couple times. And then my girlfriend goes, why don't you see what she wants? She's trying to tell you something. I just kind of remember, like, in my head, like, I probably even physically kind of laughed a little bit, like, what? She's like, she's trying to tell you something. Get up and see what she wants. And I don't know if I said it or thought it. And I remember, like, at least thinking, like, I was not trying to tell you things. She's like, and then my girlfriend's like, just get up. So I stood up, and I went, what? To the dog, like that. Or maybe I don't know if we were on the couch. I think we were in the bedroom watching TV. I don't know. Must have been in the back room. Anyways, the dog, as soon as I went, what? The dog started to turn around. She turned around and, like, started walking away. My girlfriend goes, follow her. So I started following her. Yeah, it was down the hallway. She went into the kitchen and she walked up to the pantry. And she's looking at the pantry and looking at me. And, like, back and forth, she's, like, looking. I was like, huh. So I opened up the pantry and her little dog biscuits were right there. And I remember thinking in my head, oh, no way. She was telling me she wanted a snack. That completely blew my mind. My girlfriend's laughing at me. Because she knew, my girlfriend already had dogs before, and she already understood the mental aspect of a dog's world. She interacted with dogs like that. I had a dog growing up always, but it was just in the backyard. I never spent time with it. Because I didn't really connect that as being a possibility. I just never had a moment for that to even being a thought in my mind. But that blew my mind, that little dog was like, you know what, I want a snack. And I'm going to start pulling on this dude's sweatshirt to come give me one. That was like a little thought process in her head. So I told that story when I was having this interview done with Claude. So it spit out that quick scene. I think it was like a page or two, maybe. So I guess I'm going to do that with this whole interview. And then see what it constructs in terms of, I don't know what it's going to construct. Just see where this goes. But it's a fun process to do anyways. It even asked me with a couple of different situations. Like with my, I hate using the word, but with my overdose, it even stopped the whole interview. Like, wait, okay, let's stop for a second because I want to make sure that you're okay. Like, have you gotten any therapy? Has anything, like, did you see any, like, kind of professional when it came to, like, you know, the after effects of all this? I'm like, no. I even started talking to it about that too, because my girlfriend's even blown away. Like, what the fuck? Like, no one in your family, like, thought to, like make sure you're okay after all that? Like, no. Like, back to normal. As soon as my memory came back, it was back to normal. No one really, everybody, no one, that thought didn't occur to, I don't come from thinking people. How about that? So I guess I was one of them. I was not a very thinking person when it came to anybody but myself. And I think everybody in my whole family is the same way. No one really thought, man, we really need to make sure Jerome's okay after that. No one had that thought. And Claude was wondering that too, so it asked me. That's funny. AI was more thoughtful than my family. That's kind of pathetic. But it is what it is. But anyways, that scene's done. So let's see which one it picks next. It seems to not need to have to go in like a linear route when it comes to the writing. I guess the whole thing could be organized afterwards. But the interview itself wasn't very linear. I mean, it kind of jumped around based on like what I mentioned. It went back into my childhood and then to present day. But we'll see where it goes. I just like doing it, even if nothing comes of it. It's a fun process to play with, just to see what AI can do. To be honest, it seems like this is the kind of thing that AI is perfect with doing. Because there's a lot of talk about how AI can be wrong when it comes to like factual information, but it's working with the factual information of my personal life that I gave it. So it's confined to the information that I supplied, which is accurate. So when it comes to doing this, like I could correct it. Like I think it even like talked about when it constructed the scene of the dog pulling on my clothes. Like it was, I think it, like in real life, I think it was my sweatshirt, like the sleeve of my sweatshirt, like the dog was pulling on. But like at the scene, it said like it grabbed my arm and was like pulling me towards. I'm like, I don't care if that detail's a little different. And I think like the color of the dog, it, like just gave it like a color that, because Annabelle was pure white Jindu. Beautiful dog, gorgeous, really. She was really pretty, pink nose, really cute, funny personality. But I think they gave it, Jinjus come in different colors. I think it gave it kind of like a reddish, kind of auburn maybe kind of color, which is fine. Again, I don't care about those details. Probably better if some of the details are different that don't matter. Oh, good grief. Let's see here. 2 right lanes closed. Road work. Damn it. Okay, let's see. Deal with that when it comes. This guy's already getting over. I'm gonna stay right here until I have to get over. I wonder though if this guy knows something I don't, because these guys communicate with each other on the CB radios. So he might have another guy that's working the same job he's on, telling him like up ahead. Because I know that happens. Yep, I see an arrow. Oh, you guys. Well, seems like it might be like I probably should have got off right here at Magic Mountain and then figured it out from there. But that didn't happen. Let's see what happens. It looks like there's absolutely no work where my exit's at. I'm going to pull a maneuver play dumb if I get caught. Oh shit, is that a cop car? Alright, guess it looks like I won't be able to pull a maneuver. Oh, hell. Well, I figure it out. Oh, man, and the whole other side is completely backed up. Ah, well, let's see. Yep, I'm going with this guy. Oh, good. My exit's open. Thank you. So, yeah, making a story. Thank goodness. I don't have to deal with whatever kind of drama's going on over there. Sir, you can turn. What would probably be cool, now that I'm thinking about it, but I 100% doubt that she'd want to do it. What should happen is if my woman conducted an interview, I know she's listening to this, she's like, oh, hell no. But if she conducted an interview the same way I did, to the point where we both meet and then our stories converge, and what would be cool is if this was turned into something like substantial. And that's how the story, walking off into the sunset. It's funny. I actually use that term in the interview. I see me and my woman walking off together, victorious, and I wanted to know what I meant by that. I think I explained, like, there was a lot like going against this, and a lot of people thought that maybe this wouldn't last the 16 years that we've been together. I don't think anybody imagined that this would be something as powerfully meaningful, at least for me. I can only speak for me, and lasting as it has been. But that'd be kind of cool if, like, this story could be told from two angles. Because another moment that's going to come up when it comes to the scene writing was like when part of my story comes full circle and ends up with me at Cesar Millan, because at that time me and my girlfriend are together, and the whole dog thing, she was a part of that. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, I know she won't want to do that, but but it'd be cool because her story is interesting too. All right, here I am. Have a day.